Well, hello, my sweet friends, and welcome to another episode of the Art Cake Coach podcast. Christina here, and with me, I have a very special guest who has been in the show before. We were actually kind of joking about this before we started. David Close, head judge at Cake International. Hello, David. How are you
Hello,
today?
Christina. Yeah, very well, thank you. Yep. Raring to go. Not many
Yeah.
days left before Cake International, so really
So
looking forward to it.
almost a month. I mean, a little bit more than a month. That's it.
Yeah, it
Yeah.
is. Just slightly more. Google, how many days is it to the 1st of November? It's not talking to me.
Oh, Google's not talking to you. We have to do the
No.
math. Google is
Yeah.
not helping us. What happened, Google? But it's not much. I mean, let's do the math. It's October is what? It's 30 days,
Yeah,
31
30
days.
days, 31 days.
And we have one more week. So 31, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. No, 7. No, today is Thursday. 6. Okay, 36 days
36
for
days.
oh my God. Now I'm
Wow.
scared. Now I'm scared because I'm finishing my competition piece. No, it's
Well,
almost done. It's almost done. Mine is almost done. So yeah, it's
oh,
good.
perfect. 'Cause, I mean, they've still got to the 6th of October. They
Hmm.
can still register till 4 o'clock on the 6th of October if they want to
Great.
join us.
I wanted to
You
ask
know?
you that because
Yeah.
I know there are some people who still like, oh, should I, shouldn't I? Should I do it, not do it? So until the 6th, right?
Still the 6th, yes. They've got till
Okay.
the 6th. And your question there was, should I do it? Shouldn't I do it? I get
Yeah.
that all the time. I
Mm,
mean, a comment came in the other day and it was, well, if I put one exhibit in and somebody's going to put five exhibits in, they're going to get five times more chances of winning than I am. People have got to remember that the only person you're competing is the person that if they look in the mirror, they'll see who they're competing against. They're
yeah.
competing against themselves. They're competing against a standard. You get to Cake International, you put your exhibit on that the black tablecloth, you walk down that pink carpet, you put it down there, you've got a gold medal. You walk away with your head held proud. You've done your best. Nothing
Yeah.
more you can do. It's then in the lap of the judges. And our
Oh,
job is to see whether you keep that. And we will do our best to give you
mhm.
the opportunity, once we review the skills and everything else, to see whether you do keep that. And if you don't, you know what? That's not the end of the world. You will be given the constructive criticism on how to
Absolutely.
improve. But
Absolutely.
what more can I ask? It's one standard. If there's going to be 100 people entering and there's 100 gold medals, then everybody will get a gold medal.
Yeah,
Oh, I'd love to
that's
see that,
that's
you
the
know.
beauty of Cake International, and it's funny you're talking. I almost getting goosebumps because I remember the first time I put something on that table. Everything you're describing, the pink carpet, the tables, all of the exhibits there. I mean, that feeling that I did it. I mean, I don't know if this is gonna what's gonna get, but I did it, and also that one of the things that I keep because every year I said, no, no, this is the last time. I'm not putting myself into this stress. But then, like around July, I'm like, yes, I'm gonna do it again. So I'll do it again. And that's the thing. You're competing against yourself, and that is
Yes.
listen to David because it's true. You're not competing with everybody else at all. Yeah.
Yeah, it's
And
always important that they do that. But
mhm.
what's also important is that they talk to their colleagues. They talk to people who know sugarcraft. But most important that those people are honest and say, "What do you think? What do you
Mhm.
think about this? What do you think about that?" You
Yeah.
know, because what plays a big part in competition work is emotion.
Hmm.
The emotion. You said it there. You get there. You've just flown somewhere or you've driven somewhere. You've got your piece in the back. You're panicking as you drive over. There's another UK pothole. Oh my goodness. What's my exhibit going to be like when I get there? Is it going to be in bits? What am I going to do? And
Yeah.
then you say to yourself, you get that opportunity to register. You go to the makeup area and you do your repairs if necessary, and then you put what you possibly can onto that table. But
Mhm.
again, you don't plan to fail. You
No.
fail to plan. It's making sure, for example, you've got the extra bits.
Hmm.
You're not just making one flower, you're making 10 flowers. So if
Yeah.
something goes wrong, if you're doing the wedding cake category and it says two individual handmade elements must go onto that cake, well, you're not only going to bring two, you're going to bring four, you're going to bring six, and you're going to put your very best up there.
Absolutely, absolutely. We had a couple of episodes here in the podcast before with Miriam, talking especially about that, about how to prepare for Cake International. And it's not, yeah, you don't take just your peas. We travel, we fly usually with, of course, the peas done, but we bring sugar, extra sugar paste, extra everything, just in case something breaks. Like if it hits flowers, an extra flower, extra petals, cutters, everything that you need, because that Thursday, the day before in the hotel, is a big hectic. Everybody's in their hotel
You know
room
what?
trying to get
I'm
everything
always I would always wonder. I would almost like to be a chambermaid in a hotel the day after Cake International, because
together.
everybody's coming back. And I remember Karen talking to me one day, and she said, "David," she says, "I've been in my room all night," she says, "and I was using corn flour, and I spilt some onto the carpet and everything else." And I always said to myself, she said, "I've had no sleep," she said, "but I had a great night's work." And I said, "Well, I wouldn't like to be a chambermaid in there this morning cleaning up after that there." So it
Yeah,
is,
they're gonna
and
be.
again, that's all part of the fun of Cake International.
It
You're meeting your
is.
old friends, you're having that great banter. You really are. It's a family get together. It's a
Yeah,
reunion. And I think we should sort of take that into consideration,
yeah.
within the whole concept of Cake International. I don't think there's a better show in the whole world than Cake International. I really don't.
I think I agree with you, and it's funny because one of the first questions or the things that I had written here to talk to you about is the importance of not only cake internationals but cake competitions in there. These kinds of events for our cake community. And you just said it. It's a family gathering because our work is very individual. We work in our studios or at home, or I mean, usually very apart from our peers. So how is this important for us as cake artists?
I think it's exceedingly important because it's realistic. I mean, it's so realistic. You've got to say to yourself, we can do the social media bit. We can see faces on social media. We can even chat with them on social media. But there's nothing like getting together in a relaxed environment and really letting yourself go. Really having an understanding. And of course, the biggest thing we've got to take into consideration, our world is getting smaller.
Mm-hmm.
We're in a period of austerity. The money's not the same as it used to be. And we've got to say to yourself, well, who else do we need to bring with us? And it's making sure that we do that caring element. We
Mm-hmm.
bring the young people in, we push them towards Cake International so they learn and then they can expand. Because you know what? They may be the judges of the future. They're certainly the cake artists of the future, you
Definitely,
know?
yes, yes. So yeah, we have to keep the tradition going, and
Oh, yes, by all
and
means. And, that's why I love going to cake shows because it doesn't matter where you go. I've never walked away thinking I didn't get anything out of that. I'd probably walk away saying, "Do you know what? There's another idea I've got, and another
Mhm.
idea I've got, and something else." And the biggest element of I didn't know them before I got there, but when I left, I knew them and they knew me. And then you build your social media up, and then you come across them again, and you're able to look at an artist, and you can
Yeah.
sort of say, "I remember that artist putting an exhibit in." And sometimes I refer back to some of my old documents and sort of said,
Hmm.
"Oh, look at that there. There's that young lady there. She put that in 19X or 20X. And look at her today. Look where she is today. She's really found her niche." And to
Yeah.
me, that's important. People growing, and not only growing in their skill level, but growing socially, growing in their stature, you know,
Hmm.
making sure the life's working for them and that they're doing their very best and portraying themselves.
Isn't that beautiful? Because I mean, at the end of the day, um, that's what we want. We want more. I do feel proud of the few people that I've taught and or that I coach or that I or they listen to the podcast. When I see them out there, when I see them competing or doing, trying to do more, I feel proud. So I'm sure you must feel proud
Oh, goodness sake,
of
I get emotional
seeing the
about it
growth
sometimes.
of the
Yeah.
competitors, right?
Yes, definitely. Sometimes when you sort of see a competitor and they haven't had their awards, it's in the lap of the gods, as we say. They've moved away from the table. They haven't come back on the Saturday, but they come back on the Sunday. They haven't checked the website because they don't want to check the website because they want to see it for themselves.
Uh-huh.
And they get to the table and, there's just tears of joy.
Yeah.
And to me, you hear that, and as a judge walking around and hearing somebody crying or shouting in laughter or really being so excited,
Yeah.
that warms my heart. It really does. You sort of say to yourself, Cake International and the judges team have contributed to that experience.
Uh-huh. Yep.
And the more that we can do to assist them and help them, that's what we're here for. That's what we really are here. But we've had our time. And then you say to yourself, okay, so somebody once said to me when they put 4 exhibits in and they got 4 gold medals, what have I done wrong? And you go, sorry? What do you mean, what have I done? Well, I didn't get best in show.
Oh my God.
Well, and then, that's that strive for perfection.
Yeah.
That
Well,
strive for perfection.
yeah, I mean, there's every kind of competitor, I'm sure. You
Oh,
will have
yes.
you have had them all the all the
Tears
spectrum
of joy
in
and tears of sadness.
yeah, exactly, right? But it is definitely a growing experience. It is a fulfilling experience to participate, whatever you get, because you always learn. And you mentioned before, actually, we were talking about that before we start recording. You were talking about how you prepare your judges. Uh, you mentioned that they go through a specific program. Is it created by you, that program, to train them
Yes, it's
to
a
be?
training program.
Yeah. Can you
Now, the
tell
reason
us
I
a
do
little
that
bit about
is,
that?
yeah, okay. So the reason I do it is, I can get judges who've judged all over the world, and they're
Mm,
very good at what they do, but I don't know them. I know of their skills, I know of their abilities, but I don't know them. And I think it's important that you get to know the judge, and more importantly, the judge get to know you, and even more importantly, they get to know the process.
mhm.
So I put a program together. It came to fruition last year. We had 3 candidate judges. We've got 4 this year. They are international judges, so they're from quite various places. I'm not going to divulge who they are just at the present moment in time because my judges don't even know who they are, and they won't get that until they get their presentation. And the process is about, for example, knowing. So, if, for example, feedback to me is the most important thing because it's the most important thing for the competitor, and of course, the competitor is the most important thing for judges because without the competitors, we wouldn't have a job. So
Mm,
we want to make sure, for example, that they get the best they possibly can.
yeah.
So I give them things like, for example, I'll give them, let's say, for example, I'll give them 4 photographs and ask them to judge the 4 photographs and produce some feedback. And I will have a copy of the feedback that the judge prepared from that previous competition.
Oh,
And the
okay.
idea would be then for them to give the feedback and give awards to see whether they're benchmarking, see where they're benchmarking. So it's always difficult. And then the other thing I will do is be able to have a discussion when we get together on the Zoom meeting, and they can't discuss it between themselves because if you become one of the candidate judges, the first thing I say to you is, okay, there's going to be a series of exercises. From those series of exercises, you will have to send me your work before we go to the live.
Mm,
That means that if you're in a live and you've got 3 or 4 candidates, the first one that goes will be giving their opinions. Well, do you know what? If you're quite smart and astute, you'd be saying, "I didn't think about that, but I'll add that to mine when it comes to my
yeah,
turn."
exactly.
So they have to send it to me beforehand, and then I've already read what
Okay,
they've
so there's
written.
no,
There's
no
there's no
contamination
there's no conferring.
there.
It's
Mhm.
totally individual,
Okay.
and everything has to be individual because it's their objectivity that I want to see. It's how they deal with the situation. And
Yeah.
then again, for example, at Cake International, they're going to be doing writing. So it's written feedback, it's not typed. So they have to send it to me in written format so I can see what the writing looks like. Because if
Oh,
I can't see what the writing looks like, well, how can a competitor? If I
yeah.
get somebody who's writing like a medical practitioner
Oh my God.
and
Yeah, no.
consequently, or they're writing in shorthand, then the individual wouldn't be able to understand it. And then, of course, we would get questions. So
Yeah.
again, it's about that. Then I have to say to myself, okay, so if we're going to be doing judging, then how long does it take?
Mhm.
So we say, okay, we'll give 5 to 7 minutes per exhibit. So the last task the judges had, they got 4 exhibits. They had to prepare feedback and they had to have a clock in front of them while they're doing the feedback and time how long it's taken them to do the feedback.
Yeah, because you're working against the clock all the time.
You've got it. So you're working against the clock, and then we discuss that feedback
Mhm.
at the next session because they're all doing the same. All doing the same. So consequently, again, they will send their feedback back to me, and I'm able to evaluate that feedback and say, okay,
You're always working against the clock. You have this amount of time to judge, this amount of time to do the feedback, right?
yes,
Yeah, yeah. It's and I have to say, if any of you listening are considering participating in the competition, the feedback, because I only I've only done it twice. No, yeah, twice face to face and twice online during the pandemic. But all the feedbacks in all the cases, in all the four cases, were spot on, and I learned from that feedback because it's not. It was never. I never felt that the judge was either biased or had like a, oh, I would like this better. It wasn't like a personal opinion. It was spot on. This needs to improve. Consider this for the next time. It was always something that made me look at my work differently and better and improve. So it for me has been spot on all the time. No
well, that's
issues.
good. That's
Yeah,
reassuring to know.
yeah, it
it'd
is.
be
It
it'd
is.
be nothing worse than you telling me it's been rubbish and I didn't understand what I was
Yeah,
doing.
yeah. I mean, I know a few people who would say that, definitely. But not me. In my case, I don't know if it's my expectations that are very low most of the time. But every time, I mean, I participated once with painting, and all of the feedback was like, oh yeah, but were things that I didn't see at the moment. But then when they were told to me, I was like, oh yeah, oh okay, yeah, now I see it. Little things. There's one thing I would never forget again in my life. What it was a modeling piece, and it was a gnome. The gnome was holding like a like a like a wooden stick in his hand, and I didn't totally close the hand. It was like just placed there.
Lay it just lying across it, yeah.
Yeah, and the judge mentioned that, and I was like, I mean, I thought I did, but it's like I was so into other little bits of the piece that I didn't pay attention to that one until today. Every time I'm going to put a hand that is grabbing on something, I make sure it's grabbing on something, even if it
Make sure
is
it's
for my
being
daughter's
held.
birthday cake. I do it, and it's stuck there. It's like remember the hand. So yeah, it's been helpful,
Well, to be quite
definitely.
honest, you're quite right there, because what you're really looking at there, Christina, is the attention to detail.
Mm-hmm.
Because you wouldn't be standing with your hand up and a stick resting against it because it may fall. So you've got to
Yeah.
say to yourself, well, what would you do in reality? So we look at reality and then we
Mm-hmm.
look at the exhibit. And the exhibit is supposed to be as real as we possibly can. If we're talking about flowers, we're talking about being botanically correct, unless they're a
Exactly.
fantasy flower.
Mm-hmm.
We're giving as much as we possibly can for the individual
Yep.
to really hone their skills. And we're looking for those skills.
Mm-hmm.
So
Yeah.
sort of, and of course, you mentioned earlier on that sort of it's not what the judge says. Well, I have to agree with you here because we can be quite subjective.
Mm-hmm.
And some words that sort of, as a head judge, is one that's totally not in the vocabulary. That, oh,
Mm-hmm.
yes, it's a nice exhibit. What is nice? What
Yeah, it's very
description can you
subjective.
give to an individual? It's nice.
Mhm. Yeah,
Give me some construction. I like the way you've done the quilling. I
exactly.
like the way the flowers are. I like
Yeah,
the movement, the flow, the textures. Give some constructive criticism. I'm not
interesting.
too happy with the way you've piped your snail's trails.
Mhm.
Your consistency of your royal license gives the appearance of being rather weak. Therefore, you're not holding the definition.
Exactly. Those
And
are yeah, yeah. It's not
those are the key
personal
elements.
opinion.
Yes,
It's really a
factual.
feedback. Mhm.
Based on the fact. And of course,
Yeah.
it's not done in isolation. One judge will not be judging all one piece. There's always more than one judge. And the idea of that is that you remove that subjectivity.
I was going
And
to ask you
sometimes,
that. How
yeah,
does that work? Does all the judges judge all the pieces? Do you divide them by teams?
yeah,
Do you have more
they
than?
are divided into teams.
Hmm.
So the wedding cake judges will judge wedding cakes. But if you've got, 150 wedding cakes, you can't expect three judges to judge 150 wedding cakes. So
Yeah.
one judge will take on the main role of providing the feedback.
Okay.
The other judge will be doing feedback in different areas, and then
Hmm.
they'll come together, and they then have to justify to me why they've given that award. And if I see a large disparity, so let's say somebody's given it a bronze and somebody given it a gold, I need to say, well, hold on a minute, justify why you've done it.
Yeah.
Let's have that conversation. So that is rejudging again. And then I give my personal opinions and say, okay, well, let's look at the balance. And then there are occasions when we would look at the aggregate figures. If you've got three judges and they're all coming out gold, silver, bronze, you then say, okay, is it coming out as a silver? In which case, is it a low silver or is it a high silver? And what
Hmm.
are the points? And then we look at the feedback statements. We need to add that to the feedback statement so we can turn around and give the competitor an overall view of what the judge's discussion was about.
Exactly, exactly. Yeah, because it's not only a feedback. If you never participated before, you not only get a feedback, you get a score in different. I mean, from the different different judging elements of your piece. It's not just like, oh, I like it or I don't. It's quite complete. I think so. Now, David. We've been taught we had a couple of episodes before when we talk about how to prepare to participate. Now, as a head judge, how would you tell the participants to prepare to be judged? Because that's
Right.
another game.
Yeah, it's easy. What you've got to say to yourself is the participants, the competitor, needs to have a clear focus on what they want to produce and what class they're going into.
Hmm.
From that, they then need to look at the schedule. And on the schedule, they go into that schedule and they look to see what's in their skill range. And then they have to read that schedule. And when they've done that, they then have to read the schedule again. And when they've done that, they read the schedule again. But you know what? There is assistance. Cake International has got a question and answer group.
Hmm.
And you can write into the question and answer group. Now, I get to see some of the questions, but I only get to see the questions without anybody's name or anything else. And that will be on any rules. So we
Okay.
will look at the rules, and the judges can only comment on rules. They cannot comment on design, and they cannot comment on techniques. But if you say, for example, does it need a baseboard, then I then quote you the rule. Now, I don't know whether people have noticed, but we've changed the schedule this year.
You
So
did,
we,
yeah.
yeah, and we've
Hmm.
done that specifically. So you're not looking for two different documents. You're looking for a schedule, and the front part of the schedule will have the rules in it. And when the group do the rules and do the question and answers, they refer to the rule that you actually need for that particular area.
Hmm.
And they're giving really sound advice. And again, Cake International management team and myself get the opportunity to look at the redacted version. So there's no names. We don't know who anybody is. We see a comment. If I'm doing a cake, can I do this? Well,
Yeah.
depending on the rules. And that's a good thing because you can ask the group as many questions as you want.
Hmm.
So again, and then the group will help.
Yeah, and I think that group play a big role in this update of the schedule, right? Because it
Oh,
was
massively,
after.
because yeah, massively, because we involved the group at the very beginning. We said, okay, help us with the schedule then, because there's nothing worse than us putting something into a schedule that nobody's going to participate in.
Yeah.
We always find that we're a learning and caring organization, Cake International. And we justify that by asking people, what do you want? I mean, last year, for example, the Cold Porcelain Society came to us and said, we want you to put cold porcelain classes in because it's similar to a sugar medium. You're using the same techniques, you're using the same cutters. And we put it in, but we didn't get the uptake. But
Mm.
we did give the opportunity. And that's
Oh,
as much as we can do. Um, I've had other questions where people have come up and sort of said, well, can you look at something else? Can you use different mediums? Can you give us a different class? Give us your ideas, put them
yeah.
in, and we will certainly look at them because we will be planning 2025 schedule as soon as we finished in November, we'll be start to look at what are we going to do for 2025, our
Yeah.
31st birthday, and see where that goes.
Exactly. That, actually, well, my comment was going to be that that's the secret why this show has lasted 30 years. Is the 30th anniversary of Cake International. What can we expect to have
Well,
there?
what can I say? Not a lot, really. I focus on the competition. I don't
We
focus
would
on
have to call
anything else.
Melanie for that one.
You have to call Melanie for that one. I
Yeah.
think we've got little boxes, and my box is on the rules and regulations of competition, and Melanie's box is in the show.
Good.
And whilst I support and we do the sharing and everything else, we don't. I don't get too involved in that because I've got enough to do,
Oh,
making
yeah.
sure that the judges are fully aware of what
Yeah.
is required of them this particular year.
But without the competition, I mean, the competition is it's key to keep that show going for so long, and for that show to be so important in the K community, because I mean, it is the cake. I have to say, for me, it is the cake competition. It's like, okay, you've been at Cake International, you have a diploma or something from Cake International. Okay, you have done something. It's like, yeah,
No,
it's a
I
big
would
deal.
agree. I would
Yeah,
agree with that.
yeah,
And
it's a
that's not reducing any other competitions in any way, shape, or form.
hmm
But this one is focusing on solely sugarcraft and everything associated with it. Where some other of the competitions will be salons and they will be doing hot food, cold food, that type
yeah,
of stuff. So there is a mix. We
yeah,
focus specifically on the cake
yeah,
and the
yeah.
sugarcraft
It's
industry, the
very specific
designers.
for what we do as cake artists and cake decorators. So yeah,
Yes.
there's also Bake International. You're involved in that competition as well, right?
I am, yes. We've got
Mhm.
three competitions running. There's Cake International, there's Bake International, and then there's the Junior Cake competition.
Yeah.
But you know what? They're all picking up. Cake, the Bake International is really taking off now. And I
hmm
think it's a fabulous exhibition. A really good show. And I think Miriam won it last
Miriam,
year.
yes,
So
I'm so
she did,
proud.
And
If
isn't
she's
that, isn't
listening.
that great? Because it's great that an artist can be doing one thing, presenting their skills in sugar and art, but then you're getting the other side of the coin where, for example, you've got to make the cake first, and then you've got to cut the cake, and then you've got to taste the cake. So, I
Yeah.
mean, it just shows that they've got the ability for both. And I think that's absolutely outstanding, the fact that you've got that ability to do the full range of the skills.
Oh, it is. It is. Yeah, it is. And I was very happy that she did that. She won last year, and I actually when I saw the tables at Bake International, I was like, oh, I wish. But I'm flying from Portugal, so it's like, oh, but I wish I could bring a cake with me because I mean, that's what got me to do what I do is because I love baking. But
Yes.
yeah, and they were so good looking. I didn't have the chance to taste them, but so good looking cakes, so many good looking cakes in there that yeah, I'm happy that the competition is picking up, and more people are getting involved. What about the junior? How is that? How
Well,
is
I love the
judging the
junior.
kids, dealing with the kids'
It's
parents? Maybe
fabulous.
I don't know.
Well, it is fun because and I always sort of say, I mean, the kids ones, you sort of you get a little bit emotional about because you look at the age ranges and you sort of say, look at that. How can somebody do that? I'm going to be very interested this year because we've got cupcakes in the juniors and we've got cupcakes in the open class. And it's
Mm.
going to be good to sort of compare the open class with the junior class because sometimes, believe you me, the junior class are better than some of the open class ones.
Oh my
So
God,
you
love
say to
it.
yourself, that's really got to be a sort of a challenge to look at.
Mhm.
But I don't think I think we have to really invest in that particular area because they are the future sugar crafters. They're the ones that we need. We need to instill that passion, instill that skill, deliver the training to those individuals so that they can really go on their own and
Mhm.
increase in their wealth and their experience and their skills.
Oh,
Because
yeah.
without them, some of us are dinosaurs like myself, and you sort of say to yourself, you need to have somebody coming behind you that sort of has got the same drive and ambition. You've
Yes.
got to have a passion. If you don't have the passion, if you don't like, going and having the ability to talk to individuals and see the enthusiasm and the drive, you got to say to yourself, maybe it's time for you to hang your apron out. you know?
Yeah, because you see there is hope in the next generation coming up. Yeah,
Yes.
it's true. It's true. And trying to connect, because my next question had to do with something we mentioned before, and the live that we had at Cake Friends about AI, about all of the
Oh,
changes
yes.
in the technology. And now that you mentioned that with the children, with the kids, juniors, and in general being there, those are the moments of being human, passing on tradition, on learning skills that nothing is going to take away from you. So it's great. It's great that new generations are coming up with and are showing up and presenting their work. I've seen some of the junior categories. I pass by the tables and I'm like, oh my god, I wish.
Yes.
I mean,
Yeah.
not even when I started my business that people will pay me to do this. I did things like that. Kids are amazing. They do great stuff. How is all of this new technology? Uh, how do you think is affecting our community? Is it affecting? Is it improving it? Have you considered using it, or I know you mentioned something before we were recording. I would love for you to share that, but tell me your opinion about everything that's going on with
Well,
AI.
AI is good and bad, isn't it?
Mm-hmm.
Because you can see some of those cakes and you say to yourself, I always think about the one with the piano and the man and the woman. You sort of say, my goodness, wouldn't that be amazing if you could actually do that and achieve that? And you know what? You probably could if you had 6 months and you spent a lot of time on it. You could probably achieve it. But the consideration is, would anybody want to pay for it?
Yeah.
And apart from that, in that 6 month period, you've got to say to yourself, is the product has deteriorated. Things have moved on. I mean, for the judges, I introduced AI for the judges,
Mm-hmm.
particularly in the training judges. And one of their tasks they had to do for the seminar that we've got on the first of October is our next session, is that I sent them 8 AI cakes or 8 photographs with AI cakes in them, and they had to tell me which was AI and which was real. But more importantly, they had to justify why they thought it was AI.
Mm. Okay.
So that the reason then is that if we did online competitions,
Mm-hmm.
they're going to come across introductions on AI. And I remember, for example, doing a competition a few years ago and it was online. And
Yeah.
one of the judges came back to me and said, David, what do you think about those flowers? And of course, I've got a pretty good system at home where I'm able to really zoom in. And I happened to say to the judge, well, I would be personally looking at this present moment in time on a not to schedule. But David, they're magnificent. I said, yes, silk flowers normally are.
Oh.
Because they can do things behind the scenes because they're doing it for a Sugarcraft show. And when I was competing many years ago, and we used to do something called hot food served cold.
Okay.
So in other words, what we were doing, we were presenting, let's say, a salver of food. It was intended hot, but shown cold. And if I wanted to make ice cream, well, I wouldn't put ice cream in a bowl. I would do what people do in photographs. I would be making, for example, let's say, for example, white butter, white
Mm.
margarine, and that would replicate that. I would be making sauces for the visual impact.
Yeah.
If, for example, I wanted steam, I would be getting a cloth, I would be putting it into the microwave, and I'd put it behind the photograph just before I took the photograph so that the steam is coming up to give the visual effect.
Yeah. Yeah.
That's
All
what
those
AI is
tricks
doing.
using photography. Yeah.
Yeah, AI is doing the exact same thing. It's giving the visual effect. When you mentioned something which was really pertinent, you said when you get to Cake International and you see the live human product in front of you, you
Mm-hmm.
know that that cannot be AI because it's got to be. And more important for the children as well, because they then get the ability to talk to some of the competitors who may have got the gold, the silvers, and the bronze and speak to them and say, how have you done that? How can you do that? How can I improve?
Yeah.
And that's that cake family element,
Yeah.
that caring and sharing. How do I improve? what can I do better? And there's nothing more important than getting something that somebody sat beside you is standing there and they've just got a medal and you've got a medal as well, but your medal's not as big as theirs. Well, you can talk to them.
Yeah.
More importantly, at that age, they can empathize. Yes, I was there with my mum, I was there with my dad. They didn't do anything, they didn't touch my cake, but they did give me ideas. They did
Yeah.
explain things because I wouldn't want any parent, guardian, godparent, uncle, aunts to make any assistance with regards to the individual
Of course.
exhibit for that
Of course.
individual.
Yeah.
And of course, they all sign a declaration nowadays to say, for example, that it is all their own work. And that's important because that's all we can do. You can sort of say, well, is it your own work? And we can only take their word that it is their own work.
Exactly. Yeah. But it's that human touch. Either, I mean, positive, negative, true or not, is that human touch that no AI, no program, no nothing can replace.
But
Y-
certainly in business, it's ideal because you can ask AI to produce a form for you, to
oh
produce the
yeah.
document for you. So,
Yeah.
so in the business element, it saves you time. And I normally sort of say, work smarter, not harder.
Yes.
Don't
Mm-hmm.
spend an hour trying to work on a computer to do something that you don't have the skills to do when you can ask artificial intelligence, can you tell me how to do it?
Oh
It
yeah.
will put the formulas and everything else in for you.
It will do everything,
Concentrate.
and you have time to improve your skill on
Yes,
sugar paste.
the
Yeah.
practical applications. Concentrate on the practical applications. Get the
Yeah.
skills right and
Mm-hmm.
do the very best that you can for a competition.
Yes. Yes. What is your well, it's the two questions. Do you prefer online? I'm sure you're gonna say you prefer face to face competitions than online competitions, but I have to ask. And second, do you think online competitions will continue after, because it kind of started during the pandemic because we couldn't do anything else. Do you think they will keep going on or
Well,
no?
the first part of your question is, do I prefer face to face? Of course, I prefer face to
Yeah.
face. And any judge will tell you that because an exhibit's looked at 360, so I can turn the exhibit. And if
Yeah.
there's something, for example, I don't think is right, if I'm looking for a posy pick, I'll take the flowers out and have a look to see if the posy pick is there.
Oh.
If I'm looking at, for example, the flour paste and they're telling me it's sugar flour paste, I'm able to use my hands and get the dexterity to feel whether it's any bend in it because sugar, real flours won't bend if
Mm.
they're going to be using 60% of sugar. So I've got the ability to do that. On a photograph, I haven't. But is there a time and a place for that? Then the answer is yes.
Okay.
And my justification for that is there are lots of individuals all over the world who would not have the opportunity to come to Cake International because it's just cost prohibitive. So
Yeah.
I'm always of the mind that if they really want a certificate from Cake International, then what better opportunity to get something which has got the branding of Cake International, that the same judges that would do the practical application have looked at the virtual
Oh, that's nice.
application.
Yeah, that's
To
nice.
me, that's important because we call ourselves the best brand in the world. Well, how can we not give everybody the opportunity to
Yes.
participate in that style of competition? So I do feel that there is a place for it,
Mm-hmm.
certainly around the world because of the traveling distance and everything else.
Yeah.
I think what we have to do is be a little bit smarter. So we now look at 5 photographs: front, back, left, right, top. So you're
Oh,
getting that overview
yes.
and then you can build it. We did think about things like, for example, putting video clips in, but it took up too much memory and getting them across and all the rest of it.
Mm-hmm.
But
Yeah.
short answer is, I feel there is.
Yeah. Oh, that's nice. That's nice. And especially, I love that reason because we have so much talent. For example, I know some of the members on Cake Friends that from Latin America. They are so talented. They have so much skill, and for them, it's really hard to come to these kinds of events, either in Europe or in the UK. Because I mean, when I used to live in Venezuela, it was like, no. it's too expensive. It was like a almost like a year's salary to go there, for people that are there, and they have so much talent that it's great. It's great that they get opportunities like that. I'm happy. I'm happy that that could keep going on. That's great. Now, David, we have two new categories this year in the schedule, right?
Go on, let me know.
I think so. We have the well, I don't know if it's categories will be the right word, but I know we have the masks this year.
Ah, you're talking about
Yeah.
the judge's wild card.
Yeah, and the other one, what was the other one? I forgot because I'm not doing that one. I was considering the
Don't even
mask, but
tell
I'm
me
not
which
doing the
one
mask.
you're doing. So we
That.
have the Sugar Floral Display at A. We've got Beginner's Floral at B.
Mm-hmm.
C is the Floral Display. Um, D is the Tiered Cake Christmas Winter Wonderland. E is the Decorated Cookies. F is a single tier cake featuring animals and or figurines.
Mm-hmm.
G is a decorated plaque made from any edible medium this year. So we've changed it. We've gone for any edible medium
Mm-hmm.
used within the catering, the confectionery industry. H is a display of cupcakes. I is a sculptured cake, including internal supports. J is the decorative exhibit. K is a small deck exhibit. M is the head judge's wild card.
That one.
Sci-fi, fantasy, or mythology.
That one sounds like fun. Are you
It is.
are you looking forward to see what people are going to
Yeah,
do this
because
year with this one?
we had there was a massive debate actually over the
Yeah.
wild card thing.
Tell me about it.
David, you always pick horror. Oh, people don't like horror. Really? People
People love
love
horror.
horror. They love
Yeah.
mythology. So they love fantasy. So creating something from the mind really, that floats my boat. It really gets the juices going to see what can they bring to the table.
Mm-hmm.
So for that particular class there, that's class M. We've said, for example, science fiction, fantasy, mythology, the idea of this class to stretch your imagination to produce a creative exhibit to show off your imagination to its full. You can use lights, sound, movements should you wish. We want the coolest cake you've ever wanted to design.
Oh, that's so cool. That's so cool. And it gives so much creative freedom to
Yeah,
the artist.
I normally call it the artistic license.
Yeah.
The
Oh,
artist
that's
has
great.
got the ability to use their artistic license to its full.
Yeah. And I bet it will be fun to judge as well.
Yeah, I think so. I used to love judging the horror stuff because some of the stuff they came up with just blew my mind, and I went, "How do
Oh,
they do that?
yeah.
Where do they get it from?" I thought I
Yeah.
was the only sick individual on this earth, but I'm not. There's a group of us all over the world, and
Oh,
to me,
yeah.
I thought it was
And yeah,
fabulous.
I loved, I think it was the last 2 years that I've been there. They did, you had the horror category. I mean, there were some things that they will give you nightmares. And the funny thing is, when you met the artist, that was like the sweetest person in the world. And you're like, okay, what's going
Yeah,
on?
but you see, they're getting the opportunity to unleash
Yeah.
their artistic license.
Mm-hmm.
And sometimes you look at them and you think, oh, it's a bit like sort of looking at someone and saying, I didn't think butter would melt in your mouth, but you know what? Wow.
Yeah, it's great.
And
That's
the
great.
skill that they bring through their hands and their minds and that they articulate onto a structured exhibit is outstanding.
It is.
Outstanding.
It is. It is a category worth watching, and if you go to Gate International, even if you don't participate as a competitor, go check it out because I mean, I'm curious about the one with mythology and fantasy because that's my cup of tea. I love that. I'm not participating on that one because of size, and it's difficult for me to bring something from Portugal. But I will be there checking out what everybody's going to do. What about the mask? How did you came up with the idea of
Right.
the
The mask. Well, I go to a lot of Christmas balls, summer balls, masquerade balls, and
Mm-hmm.
I have a large selection of masks, and I know people rib me about it when they see me because I'm always in a tuxedo with a mask on and everything else. But you know what? I thought to myself, well, let's do a little bit different. Let's do something which is wearable.
Oh.
So the mask itself has to be made out of the edible mediums, but
Mhm.
more importantly, It will be picked up. It
Okay.
will be looked at. And if, for example, somebody's put it onto a base, it has to be able to be worn. So we will have mannequins there to
Oh.
test to make sure. It might even be, for example, that I put one on because I've also got some formers. I'll
Oh,
just open it
I need
up.
a picture of that.
Let me just see if we've got. Yeah.
I'm gonna make sure I get a picture of you wearing mask, edible masks.
So there's the mannequin,
Ah, there you go. Yeah.
and then here we have a former.
Okay.
So a
Okay.
blank mask, and the idea being, for example, if I'm going to wear somebody's masks, which is made of an edible medium, it could be
Yeah.
chocolate, it could be whatever they want. I don't want it to sit to my face and then run down my face. So
Mm.
they will put it onto here, and then I will make sure it's then attached.
Please take a picture of the judges wearing the mask like superheroes around around the
Well,
tables of Cake International.
I
That
think
will
it's
be
going.
fun to
You know
watch.
what, I think it's going to be a fabulous class. I
It
really do.
is.
And again, you can add lights to it. You can play music from it. You
Wow.
can do whatever you want. It's
Can
using
it
your
have
imagination.
a support inside?
It's that's technical, and
Oh.
I only answer questions on the rules and regulations,
Check out the rules and
not the
regulation, people.
design.
Exactly. Go read the rules and the regulations. Like Miriam will say, I can hear Miriam right now. Print it out, glue it to the wall where you're working, highlight it, because that's what she does. She always tells me,
Yeah,
oh, check it out, highlight it, do everything. Because it's sad. It's sad when you see great work being disqualified because of basic rules like a ribbon on the board, or not even having a board to sit to put their piece on. And you see the artist crying. It happened last year. I saw one of a person that I know, a cake artist that I know. She had a fabulous work, and she forgot the either this it was in the plaque category that you either have to use a stand
yeah.
or put it into a base. She didn't bring any of those, and uh, it was beautiful, but she didn't get anything.
Well, what we've done this year is we revised the rules.
Okay.
So let me just give you an example, and this is a generic one.
Mm-hmm.
So I'm looking at rule 5 here of the wild card. It says the exhibit must be displayed on a suitable base to show off your exhibit to its best.
Mm-hmm.
Should a cake board be used, it must be covered with an edible medium. The edge of the cake board must be covered with an edible medium or a non-edible ribbon. If you do not do this, marks will be deducted overall for your
Mm-hmm.
presentation. Please refer to the rules and regulation, competition rules, rule 9.
Okay. It's very well explained. So, in case if you have any doubts, everything is in there. Because it's very sad when you see your piece or anything get disqualified because those little details. So yeah, yeah, go check it out. Can you hear me, David? I think
Yes, I can hear you now.
I think I lost my internet again, but it's okay. Yeah, it's really sad when you see great work being not judged because of this little thing. So
But
make sure you read
what
everything.
I will say, yeah, but what I will say is, even if something is not to schedule, it is going to be judged.
Mm-hmm.
The only thing that's going to be different is you won't be getting any scores and you
Okay.
won't get an award, but you will get the constructive feedback.
Oh, that's
And
good.
we've changed the feedback form this year. And
Mm-hmm.
the reason we changed it is because I listened to what the competitors were saying. And they were basically sort of saying there's not enough room on the paper to write. So can we have more room on the paper? So I've
Okay.
adapted it. And on the adaption, I'm just going to bring it up onto my screen here. It
Okay.
now says, for example, that you will have, so you have a larger space, and we've added overall comments, which is about 4 paragraphs. And then the next one we've got is suggestions for improvement.
Oh, that's interesting. Very good. Very good.
So that we're giving them suggestions for improvement where they
Mm-hmm.
can improve,
Okay.
you
Oh,
know.
that's
So
great.
there's a lot more space,
That's
a
great
lot more room for constructive
for
criticism.
constructive criticism. Yeah.
Yeah.
And listen, I mean, take it as a competitor, take it as that, as constructive criticism. And like David said at the beginning, it's the only competitor is yourself. You're competing against yourself, nobody else. because I know that it can be intimidating when you put your piece in the table and you look around, you're like, oh my god, what did I do? But if you're proud of what you're presenting, if that's the best you could do, just be proud and put it out there because you never
That's
know.
it.
Mm-hmm.
Because, you're gonna get the opportunity for some of the best skilled artists in sugarcraft to
Mm-hmm.
comment on your exhibit,
Yeah.
so to take that constructive criticism and learn from it, you
Great.
know? And of course, we've gone away from the face-to-face feedback. I love the face-to-face feedback, but it was so draining.
Yeah.
And what we were finding was that if I was to go and look at, let's say, your exhibit, you would say it's on table number F. I go over to F, there's your exhibit. And all of a sudden, we've got about 20. They may not be friends, they just mean 20 people want to listen to what I want to say to you. So
Yeah.
I'm a firm believer if you've done the work, I'll talk to you. I can't talk to anybody else. It's got
Mm-hmm.
nothing to do with them. It's one of
Yeah.
the reasons why we no longer fold the feedback statements and leave them with the exhibit. We issue them out because people were reading them.
Yeah, I remember I think it was the first year I went there that I saw some people picking up others artist feedback just to check what they got or to read it. And yeah, it's personal.
It is
So
personal.
it is
It
personal.
is.
It is
And why
personal.
should they find out something before you? Why should they
Yeah.
find out about what you need to improve on before
Yeah.
you even have the opportunity to see it?
I remember that year Miriam went to the hall very early, and I was not there yet, and she saw my piece, she saw the results, and she called me and said, the results are in. Okay, tell me. She said, no, you come here and you check it out. It's like, come on, just say something. No, I won't. Just to let you know that it's here. And, okay, but she didn't say anything because she wanted me to find out before
Yeah, because
anybody else.
it's your experience.
Yeah, yeah, it
It's a
is.
personal experience.
And it's amazing. It's amazing when you get to the table and you see something in there. It's like, oh, yeah, I got something. That's great.
Yeah, it
Yeah,
is. I mean, the emotion, the feelings, you're
yeah,
exhausted and you've just seen something. God, look at that.
yeah,
Look at
yeah.
that.
It's
And
true.
remember, no sharing on social media until the results are out.
Very important. Very important. Actually, I was going to ask you important information people need to know. Don't share anything on social media.
Yeah.
If you're showing it to your friends, like a special friend just for feedback, make sure that friend doesn't show it to anybody. Yeah.
Yeah, no posting, because there was a couple of occasions last year where we had to remove an award
Oh,
because it was later shown to be shown before the show.
before the show. And before,
Before
not
the
only
show.
before the show, before the
Before the
judging,
before the judging take
the
sorry,
results.
before the
Yeah.
announcement of the judges. Yes.
Yeah, because some people I mean,
Yeah.
very naive. They put it on the table. They take the pictures. Like, oh, I left my entry on. It's like, no, don't
Yeah.
do it. Yeah, yeah. So
Yeah.
yeah,
The other
be
thing they've
careful.
got to remember is when they put their exhibit on the table, no names. Judges don't do names, judges do numbers.
Business cards, no.
No business cards,
Yeah,
you
I've
know?
seen some of those too.
Nothing created by X.
Yeah, nothing. It has to
Totally
be anonymous.
anonymous.
Yeah.
This year we've got three stickers.
Mm-hmm.
So you're gonna get one sticker for the top of the exhibit, one sticker for underneath your baseboard or your frame, whatever you're using, and the third sticker will go behind your competitor's badge.
Exactly. Mm-hmm.
And the reason that's to help the administrators when they come for the certificates. Sometimes the brain's all foggy. It's been a long day. They've got 4 or 5 exhibits. Which one are you going for? Oh God, I forgot the number. I can't find my paper. If they just move their badge over and look behind, the numbers that they've entered in will be there, and that will speed up the
Yeah,
process.
I have to say, all of the experience of how organized it is very good, and very easy for us as competitors to be organized and to know where everything is. My advice, if I can give an advice, is arrive early. Don't leave it for the last minute to leave your piece in the table or on the table. Just like take your time because there's usually a line to pick up the stickers.
Yeah,
Yeah. So yeah, don't arrive last minute, please.
I will be doing one more Facebook Live on Cake International.
Okay.
And we're calling that, for example, competitors' etiquette.
I like that.
So the competitors' etiquette will be about this is what's going to happen when you arrive. You'll go here, there. This is what you're going to do. You'll get the opportunity and then follow the rules and be courteous to other individuals. Don't take your boxes inside, all of that type of stuff.
Yeah.
And to put their mind at rest. But more importantly, for them to remember that getting their exhibit from A to B is their responsibility. You know, and you've got to take it out of the car and you haven't got any weather protection. It starts to rain and you get those water droplets on sugar paste and it's going to start to disintegrate. Well, do you know what I mean? You haven't planned. You
Yeah.
need to be undertaking that
Actually,
planning.
now that you mentioned that, I have one more question for you that I wasn't here, but now that you mention it, is the damage in transportation sticker. Some people put this next to the piece that it was damage in transportation. What do you recommend? Because I've heard so many sides of the story. Like you should, if because sometimes, like the first year I went there, my piece, it was a little girl. She had a lot of like a big skirt. A little piece of the skirt got broken on the trip, on the plane, and I was like, should I? Shouldn't I? But one of my friends like, don't do it because they will look even in more detail if you tell them that it was damage on transit. So don't do it. Don't say anything. So I didn't say anything. I don't know if you noticed. You probably noticed. But other people would say no. Just if they have like a little, nail mark or something. Oh, damage in transit. It's like it's a nail mark. It's like nah. I don't know if it was
Yeah.
in transit or not. So what's the deal with that?
Well, to me, the deal would be I want you to imagine I've just done a wedding cake for you.
Mm-hmm.
I'm going to your wedding reception and I'm now setting up the cake.
Mm-hmm.
And well, I had some damage in transit on the way there. So I'm going to stick a little sticker by it. I'm going to put it down there to say damage in transit. Am
Yeah.
I going to get a phone call from you saying, David, I've just seen my wedding cake and I'm not too happy because there's a sticker beside it that says damage in transit. Surely getting it from your workshop to my venue is your responsibility. So I would like, let's say, £150 taken off my bill, please.
Mm-hmm.
On the other hand, if, for example, I've traveled from Singapore or Asia and it's been in a cargo or I haven't packed it correctly, then you've got an area of responsibility. And the first question I only get the marshals, the sort of the stewards to say is, if somebody wants a damage in transit sticker, ask them where they've come from. And there's been several occasions where I've had individuals come up and says, "Oh, the lady's just travelled up from Solihull." I
Which is
said, "That's just up the road from Birmingham."
it's next door.
And
Yeah.
she wants a damage in transit sticker.
Yeah.
I
Okay.
said, so um, possibly best is to leave the broken bit near to the exhibit. Because as you've said, if you say damage in transit and the judge doesn't see it automatically, they
Yeah.
will then start to look because they're looking for your damage in transit.
Yeah. Where
And
is
it
it?
might be the point of belief. It
Mm-hmm.
might be nothing. Okay. And we do take things into consideration. We do take the fact that you're getting it from A to B, the fact that you may have traveled a long distance, the fact that you might have been up all night, the fact that you had to stand in a queue for a long period of time, the
Mm-hmm.
fact that there maybe was insufficient room to do the repair issues to get it to the table. So we're not looking for the magnificent completed element. We do get them, and we get them quite a lot. But I would say really work on how to pack. And
Yeah.
one of the etiquette things that we'll be talking about as well is what tends to happen is people may put polystyrene between, let's say, for example, elements of leaves,
Mm-hmm.
or they might put sponge, and then they put it on the table and they forget to take
And
that
they
one piece of
forget.
sponge away, and then we
Yeah.
say, "Well, we can't touch it now." Or they've got a pin holding something in, and I
Yeah.
could go on for hours with
Yeah, I
regards
know,
to
I
that.
know, I know. I saw one last year that happened was between some leaves or something. I was like, oh God, oh yeah, because there's nothing you can do about that. Yeah, yeah. But it's true. I mean, I think one of the biggest considerations that I have when planning what I'm going to do for Cake International is the transportation. Because I have pieces here in my office. They're They're huge and they have frills and they have, the arms sticking out or yeah, big hair, something like that. And I know I'm able and capable of doing that. But am I capable of taking that on a plane? Probably not.
Yeah.
So I usually try to go, okay, what can I do that I like it, that represents me, but that I can take on a plane with me?
Yes.
Yeah,
Yeah,
yeah.
you can do what can you do in a small package that gives you the opportunity to present your skills to the best of their opportunity,
Mhm.
ensuring that it meets the schedule of
Yeah.
the class that you're entering into and you give it your best. The
Mhm.
other thing is, for example, would be competitors, for example, doing 4, 5, 6 exhibits,
Mhm.
and then they haven't managed their time effectively. And I know you run some workshops on managing time.
Yeah, I
Well,
do.
managing time for a competition is also important because you've got to say
It
to
is.
yourself, life
Mhm.
will get in the way. There's
Mhm.
always that curveball that comes in from nowhere, which you didn't see coming, and then all of a sudden your program will change. So if
Exactly.
you can do something, get it done 100% finished,
Mhm.
move on to the next one, move on to the next one.
Yeah.
Try not to give 100% across 5 exhibits when you know it will not divide equally.
Yes. That's a good advice. That's a great advice because, and yeah, if you need help managing your time, let me know. I'll
Yeah.
help you with that one. Yeah, it is. It is. I mean, yes, you have to. You have to, like Miriam said, print the schedule, glue it to your wall, check it out, highlight it, plan with a calendar in hand. Where are you traveling from? What can you bring on the plane? That's another thing. uh for example, this year, because of ticket cost, I realized that for me it was cheaper travel to London and taking the train to Birmingham. So I'm
Yeah.
doing that. Okay, but that's an extra thing.
Yeah, and that's
Consider.
an extra movement as well.
Yeah, to consider when taking my piss. So, am I going to bring a huge exhibit? No, I'm not.
Yeah.
It's because it's going to be so stressful that
You know
I'm
what?
not going to do it.
I'm gonna be scarring the exhibits now for something which is quite small, looks as if it's been traveled by plane and then followed up by,
Exactly.
a
That's me.
train
That's
and then a
me.
bus or something.
Good, good. And if he has purple, no, it doesn't have purple in it because everything that I do is purple. But no,
Yeah.
you're not gonna guess. You're not gonna guess.
No. I wouldn't
Very
even
good.
consider it. I've got too many other things to think of at the
Too
present moment in
much,
time to
for
guess,
sure.
no.
Yeah, for sure. David, I hope this year I can finally get a picture with you. I mean, I never get a picture with you. You're always running around.
Let's make that a deal.
Let's do that.
Let's make that a deal.
We're
I'm
gonna
there
get a picture
I'm
this
there
year.
from the Friday right through to Sunday.
Yeah, and it's funny because we went to the DMAs Awards, which was a relaxed environment, and I didn't get the picture either. I'm like,
Yeah,
I cannot believe this. I didn't get the picture with David. We're gonna get the picture this year.
we'll
David,
guarantee it this year.
yeah, this has been so much fun. Thank you so much. Great advice for the competitors. I'm not gonna ask you again about the cake. Yeah, you know the question. I usually ask everyone if you
Yes.
could make a cake for it, but you already answered that one. I'm not gonna ask you that one. But I'm gonna ask you if you could make a cake for Cake International's 30th anniversary. What would that be? I know
Well,
you made one on AI.
I've done one on AI. I did do one on AI. Yeah.
Okay.
But what it would be, let's say, for example, a replication of the years
Um,
and going through the years and taking year 1, 2, all the way up to 30 and
mhm.
bringing in something from each year, which would
Mm,
give an overall view, and then finishing off with the AI logo on the top to say, this is where we were. And it might even be building up the different AI logos as we go through to
oh,
say,
that's awesome.
this is where we've come from. And
Yeah,
this is where we
imagine
are
that
today.
keep building up through the years. That will be great.
Yeah.
Yeah. Oh, that's good. That's good. Any memory that you have there's like that year this happened. That was special.
Oh, there's loads of memories, but I never try to single one out because I'm always anticipating what the next one's going to be.
Ah,
And it might be better than the one I've already had in my mind.
got it.
So
Yeah.
if I go with an open mind, then I'm there to take on a fresh, brand new experience. And to me, that's what every judge should be doing is taking on a brand new experience, leave last year and the years behind, and look to see what's coming out this year.
Mhm. I love that. I love that. Open mind. Let's see what this year and next year will bring. That's great, David. David, thank you so much for being here today. This episode is airing on the third. Let me see. I think it's the third. No, the 1st of October. So if you're
Oh,
listening
lovely.
to this episode, you still have time to participate as a competitor at Cake International, and you will still have a month to do your competition piece. So
Oh,
go
you.
for it.
Some people say they do it in a couple of days.
Yeah, I know. I know. Who was it? I think it was. I don't know if it was Galia or who was it last like, a couple of years. Not. I don't know if it was last year or the year before. Says no. I just did it last night. I was like, you're crazy. You're crazy. You're absolutely crazy. How did you do it? She's like, no, I had a bit, little bits here and there, but I just finished everything last night in the hotel room. Like, oh my god. But yeah, you have any kind of competitor in there. Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah, great. Well, thank you so much, David. I cannot wait to see you over there. I'm counting the days now. We're on the countdown for Cake International and for this 30th anniversary. And to everyone listening, thank you so much for listening to today's episode. And as always, my friends, stay safe and stay creative. Thank you, David. See you.
Thank you very much, Steve.
Bye
Bye.
bye.